Jingle bells, Batman smells, Robin laid an egg, and that face tells the whole story. So here's Rebirth Robin, and the general consensus that we've got some, he's kind of got the highs and lows of action figures, and especially Mcfarlane action figures. For the highs and the pros, his aesthetic is amazingly awesome. As we've come to expect from Mcfarlane, the facial expression, beautiful rendering, looks exactly like Damian Wayne, right down to the expression. The outfit is the newest Robin outfit, and it is great. It is bright. It is accurate to the comics. It's got this cool cape with the hood that, no, it doesn't cover his hair, but doesn't have to. It's got this wonderfully colored and designed tunic. It's even got down to the detail of the red ties on the green boots. This cape and the hair and the tunic all move in that direction with the wind, so it looks like he's moving when he's standing still. He's got these really awesome looking shuriken things. When it comes to the cons and the lows, it's the articulation. Part of that I'm going to write up to the fact that it's a smaller figure and harder to get all the joints in there. But some of the joints, like the neck and I'm almost positive there's an ab crunch in here, and the hips are limited by either the tunic or the collar. Just not a lot of movement when you turn his head to the side because the collar's in the way. You can't even really bend the ab crunch, if it's even in there, because of the tunic being tight, and the legs don't go up even close to 90 degrees with the tunic. And then the knees themselves, I'd be generous if I said that was a 90-degree bend. So he can't do a lot of the poses you would expect a ninja/gymnast/ Robin type guy to go. Final score for DC Multiverse Rebirth Robin. For articulation and posability, I'm going to give him kind of a low mark of a 2. There's a number of points of articulation that we are accustomed to in this scale that just aren't here, and a number of points that he does have are limited in one way, shape, or form, thereby limiting his posability. It's near impossible to put him in a pose that you would expect a gymnast/ninja assassin Robin to be able to get into in an action-type scene. Accessories, going to give him a mid-grade number of a 3. He's got a couple neat-looking shurikens and a giant sword. But the sword has got a really weird kind of goofy design to it. It's oversized, and he doesn't have any spare hands for punching or a different head for a different facial expression, although I'm not 100% sure that Damian Wayne wears any other different facial expression. For looks, though, I got to give him a 5. Perfect score. This figure looks exciting. The colors are gorgeous. The costume is comic accurate and beautiful. The facial expression down to a T is Damian Wayne. He looks great standing on a shelf, as long as you're okay with him standing. And for construction, another mid-grade number. I'm going to give him a 3. He wasn't super solid out of the box. He's not super solid now. One of the legs actually fell off while I was posing him. But a lot of the construction downgrade, I would say, has more to do with the fact of the articulation. Like, it was designed odd to have this tunic go over the body piece that makes the ab crunch completely useless. And some kind of things like that. So all in all, that's a 2, 3, 5, 3. That is 13 out of 20. That puts him kind of in the mid-range. I would not recommend him for someone who's looking for a Robin they're going to pose in a bunch of action-packed fighting scenes. But I would recommend him to anybody who is looking for a very exciting-looking Robin figure who likes Damian Wayne. Robin collectors, Batman and Robin collectors who needed Damian Wayne to go buy their Batman. He looks really great. He just has a number of other limitations. I'm Mark with Playthingamajig, where it's all about the toys. Come back next time. So here is the new Rebirth Robin from Mcfarlane Toys DC Multiverse. Quick box overview. He's definitely too small for the box. I still have a problem with Mcfarlane boxes being way too big than they have to be. But that's neither here nor there. So a handsome black and white box with the DC blue background for all the figures. Really nice display. I will say, while they do make too big of a boxes, they do display the figures very nice in them. If you are an in-box collector, which I am not, they do look very handsome in the way that they pose them, because Mcfarlane is an artist. That's just the way he is, and that's the way they're going to be. On the back, we've got very tiny print, but luckily not a lot of it. The giant picture of Robin and the pictures of the other figures in the line. And actually, the weird thing is, they just kind of take 5 random figures. They don't really go by wave. It's a little bit odd, but it's okay. The sides are, this side is by our window. This side has that. All right. Well, we don't care about the boxes though. So let's get to see what's inside here. Handy multi-tool. I'm not very good with it. There we go. Wow, I cut the tape and it still just slices the box. Anyone not in the know? This is not Dick Grayson, the original Robin. This is not the second one. Jason Todd. I was going to say Todd something. It's Jason Todd. This is not Jason Todd, who was killed and brought back as the Red Hood. And this is not the third Robin, who is Tim Drake, who has now moved on to being Red Robin. This is Damian Wayne, the son of Bruce Wayne and Talia al Ghul, one of his biggest villains, Ra's al Ghul's daughter. And he was raised by the League of Assassins, so he's kind of a nut and in drastic need of Bruce Wayne's tutelage to contain his anger. Oh, they do not have twist ties anymore. They use these little plastic bands. Looks to be all of them. Crinkle time. As a member of the League of Assassins, or as being trained / raised by the League of Assassins, Damian Wayne is bound to... He's more apt to use something like this and seriously damage, again, assassins, so killing is not... Anyway, Talia sent him to live with his father because she knew his father didn't kill. So, we have Damian Wayne. We have a sword that's almost as tall as he is. We've got the collector card, the write-up on the back. We have 2 shurikens, and we have the DC Multiverse stand. That is everything in the package. Moving on. So here's a little more detail about some of the issues that I have with this figure. As you can see, most of the pictures I took are on the figure stand because there are just some real issues with posing him. On the plus side, actually, I want to point out that the elbows, though only a single point, do bend considerably more than 90 degrees. And that is a definite plus when it comes to this figure. However, so many other things are not great. Now, with his head, he gets good up and down. Well, really down more than up. As long as his chin is lined up with the V here of his collar. But I was trying to pose him looking over this side of his shoulder, I guess you would say. And as soon as you do, you lose any real movement between either his chin hitting here or the back of his head. Actually, the back of the head didn't really do much, but the chin barely makes it go down. And it's universal. That collar is right on his chin as soon as you move his head, pretty much anywhere shy of straight on. So that kind of sucks. Again, I feel that I can feel an ab crunch in here, right about here, but this tunic seems to be stopping it really from doing anything. The knees, that's as far as the knees go. And again, I'm generous if I call that a 90-degree bend. And the tunic stops his legs from really going up any farther than that. Or probably, get the cape out of the way. Yeah, or back for that matter. Actually, when I was in an early video, it might be in the fails section, I was doing this to move his leg up and his leg popped right off, just like that. I thought I broke him. Luckily, I didn't break him. So there are most of the usual points of articulation, but they don't do a lot. Actually, this thigh, there's no thigh break up here. There's no thigh break here. There's no twisting above the knee. Actually, there's no twisting below the knee. There is quite a compound joint at the ankle that you can manipulate in a number of different ways to get an interesting, a lot of range of motion in the ankles, which is, again, is a plus. But there's so much missing from here to here that there just isn't the mobility that most people are looking for. Now, I don't know if this is specific to my figure, but both of the ankles, I don't know if they're ratcheted or they just have like 2 clicks, but it can either be in this position, which, as you can see, if he's standing, would be leaning backward, or the other click is here, where he'd be leaning forward. There's no happy medium, and because of the clicks, there's no way to just lock it in straight on. So the couple times I have posed him without the stand, one foot was leaning forward and one foot was leaning backwards in order to get him any sort of level of balance. So articulation with this figure is a considerable issue, and as I've said before, I'm going to chalk a bunch of it up to the fact that he is a thinner, smaller featured figure. But I mean, I've seen small figures done before that have the thigh twist and the calf twist, and initially I thought maybe it was just really good paint that I couldn't break it, but it's not. They're just not there. He's got the wrist turn, he's got the bicep turn, so the arms are pretty well done. Legs, not well done. Anything pretty much shy of the neck, and even as I was just mentioning, that's not even great. So yeah. Now, with the accessories, I think that these shurikens look really cool, but I'm not entirely sure how he's supposed to hold them. I'm kind of thinking because of the way a battering would be held, it would go in like this, and when he's got the split there in the fingers, I thought maybe it's supposed to go kind of like that, and it does fit like that, at least on one hand. So I'm pretty sure that's how they're supposed to be held. But I also know that that's how a batarang goes, but a batarang is like 2 blades this way. So the way it should be thrown as a batarang would be turned around like this, which it also holds. Not quite as cool, but it also holds it that way. So I like the shurikens, although I'm not completely 100% sure how they fit in the hands. I do not like this sword. I laughed at it because it's almost as tall as Robin, but Damian's a small guy, so a big sword wouldn't surprise me that it's bigger than him. However, I don't like that the, I believe this is called the hilt or the tang, bends down instead of up, which is, and just in my understanding of a broadsword, would not bend down like this. But when you put it in his hand, because for the size of the sword and the size of Robin, this would have to be a 2-handed sword. I just don't think it looks good. And it's not easy to get in there. And even once you hold it, like, you have to have him back so far to get the whole thing in panel because it's so long. I don't know. Sun just doesn't quite look right about it. Maybe I use this sort of Damocles or whatever Azrael has. Maybe that's a better sword for him. I'm not sure. I think it's a beautiful looking figure. I love the colors. I love the outfit. I love the expression. I love even the cape, which initially I wasn't a big fan of. I think he's definitely Damian Wayne Robin in every possible way in looks. And luckily, I just basically play with my figures like this, and then I pose them once on the shelf, and he will look really cool posed on the shelf in one way or another with his shurikens. He just cannot be posed in an acrobatic, gymnastic, ninja type pose because his legs don't bend like that, and he doesn't have an ab crunch, or he doesn't have a usable ab crunch. Damian Wayne Robert, he will not stand up straight.
Robin from Mcfarlane Boys.
And the tunic also stops his hips from getting up higher. So that could happen. And the sword he does come with is really big and kind of goofily designed.
Goofily is a word.
I don't know why he keeps falling. The boots. Thick. Woo! The Mcfarlane toys, so the aesthetic. Nice. Here, where he's leaning forward, or you're actually here, where he's leaning back.
Part is kind of got a goofy design. I just flip people off.
Next, the part, the wind goes. Fuck shit.
Thank you.